The message arrived on a Tuesday. Humanity had barely mastered interstellar travel when the Galactic Council's envoys appeared in Earth's orbit, their ships gleaming like polished obsidian against the void. The Council's decision was unanimous and non-negotiable. Earth was denied membership and forbidden from expanding beyond its solar system. Too aggressive, they said, too unpredictable. Admiral Jack Reed stood on the observation deck of Lunar Base Alpha, watching the alien delegation depart. 50 years of service to the United Earth Navy, and this was how it ended. With a dismissal from species who'd never known war, never faced extinction, never clawed their way up from mud to stars through sheer stubborn will. They've made their choice, he said to his second-in-command, Lisa. Now we make ours. Earth's governments unified under a single banner within a month, not out of idealism but necessity. The Exiled, they called themselves. Plans that had gathered dust for centuries were dusted off. Colony ships that had been bound for nearby star systems were redirected to the edges of Sol, to the Kuiper Belt, and beyond. If humanity couldn't go to the stars, they would remake their own system in defiance. 30 years later, Commander Tom Gray guided his patrol ship through the dense asteroid field that had once been Pluto. The dwarf planet had been disassembled, its materials feeding the massive construction platforms that now formed a ring around the outer solar system. Approaching Nexus Station, his navigator announced, "Control is giving us docking Bay 17. Tom nodded, watching as the greatest achievement of human engineering came into view. Nexus Station, 500 kilometers of spitting metal and composite materials, home to 3 million people, and the staging ground for humanity's greatest secret. Message from Director Patel, the comms officer said. She wants to see you immediately upon docking. We found it, Tom, Director Maya Patel said, her eyes gleaming with triumph as she activated the holographic display, the Council's blind spot. The display showed a section of space beyond the heliopause, the boundary where the sun's influence ended and true interstellar space began. There's a reason they're so advanced but still confined to only 1/3 of the galaxy, she continued. They can't navigate null space. Their ships can't detect the corridors between dimensions. Tom studied the display, understanding dawning. But we can. Maya nodded. The very aggression they despise in us has given us an edge. Our brains can process the chaos patterns in null space. Their species evolved for harmony. They literally cannot perceive the discordant pathways. How far have we mapped? Tom asked. Far enough to build our own network, one they'll never see coming. The first colony beyond Sol was established in absolute secrecy 5 years later. Planet Hammond, named after the physicist who'd first theorized null space travel, became humanity's foothold in a star system 12 light-years from Earth. Through conventional means, the journey would have taken decades and been instantly detected by Council monitoring. Through null space, the colony ships arrived in 17 days, unnoticed. By the time Hammond celebrated its 10th anniversary, humans had established 7 colonies across 6 star systems, each one built in shadow, each one preparing. When the Council's routine surveillance ship passed through Sol 50 years after the exile, they observed exactly what they expected. A thriving but contained human civilization, seemingly accepting of its boundaries. The massive solar arrays and habitat rings impressed them. Perhaps humanity had found contentment in its limits after all. They never detected the null space transmitter hidden within Venus's acidic clouds, relaying coordinates and messages to over 30 independent human worlds. Fleet Captain Anna Wilson stood on the bridge of the UES Defiance, humanity's first true warship. Built entirely in the shipyards of Hammond, it had never known Earth's gravity. All systems ready, Captain, her first officer reported. Null drive is primed. Anna took a deep breath. 100 years after the exile, humanity was about to reveal its hand. Signal the fleet, she ordered. We move on Outpost Centauri. The Centauri system had been home to a small council research facility for centuries. Strategically insignificant, lightly defended, but crucial for its position along major council trade routes. When 26 UN warships materialized from null space around the outpost, the council representatives surrendered without firing a shot. They couldn't comprehend how humans had arrived there at all. Within a week, similar operations had captured 5 other council facilities. The galaxy's communication networks buzzed with confusion and alarm. How had the quarantined humans escaped? How were they appearing and disappearing at will? The council's emergency session was interrupted when Admiral Reed's grandson, Michael Reed, appeared directly in their chamber via null space portal. Now aged 83, he walked with a cane but spoke with the authority of a civilization that had turned exile into advantage. "We come with terms," he announced to the stunned assembly. "The human empire now controls 47 star systems, all beyond your detection capabilities. We have mapped null space corridors throughout your territories that your ships cannot access or patrol." He paused, letting the implications sink in. "But we don't come for revenge. We come for partnership on equal terms." The Council, faced with a power they couldn't counter, had no choice but to listen. Within a year, the Exile Accords were signed. Humanity would share its null space technology in exchange for full recognition and the lifting of all restrictions. The species that had once deemed humans too aggressive to join galactic society now found themselves depending on that very trait. The ability to perceive chaos, to thrive in disruption, to see patterns in discord, these uniquely human qualities open pathways to corners of the galaxy long thought unreachable. What began as exile ended as triumph. Not through war, but through determination, ingenuity, and the stubborn refusal to accept limits imposed by others. Earth had indeed built its own empire, one founded not on conquest, but on humanity's greatest strength, the ability to find paths where others saw only walls.